Have you seen that square road mic that everybody has now?
Yeah, I did.
It looks like it would be good. I mean, everybody's got it, but it looks fucking stupid. Every influencer's walking around with it taped to a spatula.
The thing.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
So we'll just walk around. Hello.
That'll get you views. It's terrible.
We're here today with 5 different kinds of vegetables. Mr. Tomato, can you tell me what you think about the weather today? Very insightful. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen, and today we'll be making Sataraš. Sataraš is a vegetable stew made up of at least 3 ingredients: onion, tomato, and pepper. This is like the Croatian version of Ratatouille. All the ingredients are summertime vegetables, so it's the perfect summertime lunch. Typically this is served with meat, but you don't have to serve with meat. You can get served with either rice or potatoes to keep it a meatless meal. This recipe was sent to me by my friend Amelia, who got it from her husband, and she's been telling me for like weeks now that I need to make this on the channel, so we're finally getting around to it now that it is summer. She says typically she serves it with chicken, but like I said, we're gonna keep this vegetarian, so if you wanna add chicken into it, go right ahead, or any other kind of meat, we shall not. So the reason we're using a red onion instead of a yellow onion is just because of the color. You can use a yellow onion if you'd like, but I thought it'd be more fun to have a purple color added in. Same thing with the peppers, that's why we're using 2 yellow, 2 green, and 2 red to add more color. And the red is a little bit different than the red of the tomato, which is kind of why I don't care that we're using 2 different kinds of reds. So we're gonna go ahead and start cutting the vegetables. The tomatoes we're going to want to peel. In order to do that, we're gonna have to dunk them into boiling water for 10 seconds. That's gonna loosen the skin, and then we will remove. So let's get right on into it. Behind me here, I have a pot of water coming up to a boil, and we're just going to prep the tomatoes. You want to take the bottom of the tomato and your knife, and you just make a small little X at the bottom. You don't want to cut through the flesh, just a little bit to get through the skin. And then we're going to dunk this into the pot of boiling water for 10 seconds only. Doesn't need to be in there any longer than that. The boiling water will remove the skin from the flesh, and then we'll take it out, and it'll be so much easier to peel. And you don't have to put it into an ice bath since it's only been in there for 10 seconds. It's not hot at all. So we'll just take the knife over where we had the peel, and we'll just peel the skin right off. I just pull it off like that. It comes off very, very easily. So now that they have been peeled, we're just going to cut these into either 4 or 6 pieces, depending on how big they are. So this one I have now is a bit bigger, so we'll go into like 6 pieces. And these smaller ones, we can just go once and then twice into quarters. So now for the onions, I have peeled them and cut them in half. And for these, let's do it like this. We're just gonna want to make these nice little half moon shapes. And we'll just put these there. Now it's time to do the peppers. So we're just gonna cut the top right off. And if you watch the punya, I want to cut through these little side pieces here that are holding the inner part to the side, and we just remove. And now we'll just cut off the bottom as well, and right down the middle. So we have 2 halves, and we'll just kind of push it down onto here, and we'll cut into strips. Now that all of our vegetables are chopped, let's head on over to the stove where we'll start to cook. Here we are at the stove, and we'll be cooking in olive oil because we're trying to keep this vegetarian. So I'm just gonna throw a bunch into the bottom, maybe like a tablespoon or 2. Then I need, what do I need? Onions. I need the onions in, and now we'll turn it on. We're gonna let them sweat for 10 minutes. And after the onions have sweat for 10 minutes, we'll add in the paprika, or the peppers. And we'll stir this around. And once again, we'll let this cook now for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, we'll add in all of the tomatoes. And of course, I haven't forgotten, now we will season. We've got salt, a good amount of salt. The salt will also help draw the water out of the tomatoes, which will add some liquid into the dish, as well as pepper, just for flavor. If you want to add other spices like paprika, maybe some parsley, basil, be my guest, but I'm going to keep this super simple. Then I'll just stir everything in together. And we'll put the lid back on, and we'll cook for half an hour. Also, this has been on low heat basically the whole time. Once this is done, I'll meet you back over at the counter, and it'll be time to taste. So after 30 minutes, it is time to serve. A lot of water coming out of the tomatoes, so it gets a nice little like kind of soupy texture, which is kind of like Ratatouille too, sometimes. And here we have Sataraš. Sataraš definitely suffers from the same issue that most Croatian foods suffer from, is that it's not the most picturesque, but remember, food is supposed to taste good, so it's gonna go ahead. We'll give our taste for Greg. Oh, that's a big piece of tomato. There you go, some pepper instead. This is quite nice. I think I maybe have overcooked it just a bit, because everything is kind of like a little mushy, as typical Croatian vegetables tend to be. But you still see everything. Like, you can definitely tell that you got some pepper, you got some tomato. The onions, actually, you don't really see too much, so maybe it doesn't matter what color you use, because wow, the purple is gone. Either way, this is very, very tasty. All the flavors definitely meld together. The only thing is, I do see why this isn't really served alone. This definitely needs something extra to it, and in my opinion, I think it needs some meat. Either way, this is a perfect summertime lunch. Make it as a side. Serve it with some like roast meat, maybe grilled chicken, or like I said before, you want to keep it vegetarian, side of rice or potatoes. The rice and potatoes will really soak up a lot of the extra liquid. If you liked what you saw, please hit like and subscribe, and don't let it take. I went to engineering school. I can figure out how to stack tomatoes in a bowl.
You can't figure out how big of a tin you need. Call back to episode. Bam! On the screen.
To any episode where. So today we're going to use a pot. I'll get the pot. I'm hoping this pot will be big enough.
Did you figure that out with your engineering?
No, it's yes.